McLaren boss Zak Brown has clarified his comments made in a letter to Stefano Domenicali and FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem, in which he stated that anyone found in breach of the budget cap last season should be considered cheating in Formula 1. Brown wrote his letter to the F1 heads 2 days after the FIA announced that Red Bull Racing had overspent on the budget cap last season, with the strongly worded note riling up Red Bull boss Christian Horner, who took exception to the wording used by the McLaren owner. Now, Brown has clarified that he didn't actually accuse any specific team of cheating in his letter, but merely that he felt that any breach of the financial regulations should be considered cheating in the same way that a breach of the technical regulations would also be. We're not taking a view whether they did or didn't. My letter was, if someone has, then here are the things that we think should be addressed. No different than if a ride height is incorrect or a flexi wing or whatever the case may be, said Brown. It didn't mention any teams, it was a general response. Now that we are into the cost cap era, if someone breaches that, here's what we think some of the ramifications are. Meanwhile, at Red Bull this weekend, there will be a somber mood as they try to wrap up the Constructors title in 2022, with the announcement that company co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz has passed away aged 78. The Austrian co-founded the energy drink company Red Bull in 1984 and eventually moved into F1 in the 90s with various sponsorship deals, before Mateschitz took a minority stake in Sauber F1. That relationship ended in 2001, but in 2005 Red Bull Racing first appeared on the grid, with the team taking 4 world championships from 2010 to 2013 with Sebastian Vettel. Of course, more success came last and this season, but sadly news came of the co-founders passing 40 minutes before qualifying in Austin, Texas. Team principal Christian Horner told Sky Sports F1, "It is very, very sad. What a great man. He is few of a kind. What he achieved and what he has done for so many people around the world is second to none." F1 CEO Stefano Domenicali said that the Austrian helped to transform the sport of Formula 1. Dietrich Mateschitz passed away, age 78. In qualifying on Saturday, it was fortune smiling down on Lando Norris, as he was the lucky driver to benefit from Zhou Guan Yu's deleted lap in Q2, which allowed the McLaren man into the top 10 shootout, along with the 2 Mercedes, 2 Red Bulls and Ferraris, plus Lance Stroll, Fernando Alonso and Valtteri Bottas. The first runs in Q3 saw the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc leading the pack with a 1:34.624, with teammate Carlos Sainz a tenth and a half behind. Lewis Hamilton edged out Max Verstappen for third on the grid, with the upgraded Mercedes working well at the Circuit of the Americas. With the track improving on the second runs, so were the times. Leclerc adding to his advantage on the timing sheet with his second run into the session with a 1:34.4. But teammate Carlos Sainz stole pole by 0.06 of a second to make it a Ferrari front row in Q3 at least, although Leclerc has a 10-place grid penalty for a new ICE and new turbocharger come Sunday. Verstappen would have to settle for third in the session, with he and Sergio Perez third and fourth, with the latter also taking a grid penalty for the race on Sunday with new engine parts. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell put the silver arrows of the Mercedes 5th and 6th, with Lance Stroll, Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, who is another who will be taking a grid penalty for Sunday, and Valtteri Bottas rounding up the top 10 in Q3. "I knew it was coming," said Sainz over the team radio to his pit wall before adding in his post-qualifying interview, "It was fun. A lot of fun. Very tricky out there with these wins that we have today. Every corner is a bit of an adventure with these cars. You don't know how much grip you're going to get or how much grip to expect. I managed to put together a good lap without mistakes, and yeah, pole position. It was a long time coming after a few qualies in the dry getting close to it." Now, the Spaniard did admit that Red Bull are still favourites for race pace on Sunday, but a win would be amazing to start the last 4 races of the season. You can follow all the action on Sunday's race, of course, on GPFans.com and GPFans Global on Twitter, Instagram and TikTok as well.